A beautiful day in the city of Lagos, and you're watching Meet the Boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria.com. I still remain your humble host, William Suzamba, and today on the program, we shall be playing around the medical environment. And you might be wondering who my guest today is. Well, why not just sit back, relax after this timeout. I shall be unveiling today's guest and the brand we shall be talking to. You're watching Meet the Boss. We shall be right back.
Looking for the best events? Log on to Connectnigeria.com.
Welcome back to the show, Meet the Boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria.com. I did tell you before that break that today, yet again, we shall be playing around the medical industry. And my guest today is no other person than Mr. Oluwasoga Oni, the CEO, co-founder of a brand known as MdaaS.
Nice to.
You're welcome to the program today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good.
It's nice to be here.
Good. And I must say, you have a beautiful office.
Thank you. Thank you. We try to make it beautiful.
That's good.
And one of the things we really care a lot about is patient experience at MdaaS.
Okay.
And so we want people to walk into our office and centers and feel like, I want to get care here. So, and I think that's what we're trying to achieve here.
Yeah, that's a good ideology. I mean, white is next to purity, is seen as purity. So adopting this color white is a beautiful experience. You're welcome to the program today.
Thank you.
Now, typically on this show, when we start the show, we like to start by asking the guests to tell us from their own perspective and viewpoint who they are, and what the brand they represent stands for. So please let the viewers back home hear from the horse's mouth as the proverbial saying goes, who Mr. Oluwasoga Oni is.
Yeah, so I'm Oluwasoga, as you know. I'm the CEO, I'm one of the founders of MdaaS Global. I'm one of 4 founders. For me personally, I grew up in a small town, Ikara, Ondo State. Grew up in a family of medical doctors, healthcare professionals. In fact, everybody in my family today works in the healthcare space. Both my sisters and their spouses all work in the healthcare space, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So yeah, and I also work with my wife. She's my CFO.
Nice.
And so we're all in the business, as you can see. And so yeah, that's who I am.
That's good. I mean, I'm so forced to ask, based on some of the things you just mentioned, was it some kind of a coincidence or it was planned that every member of the family and even their extended in-laws who play in the medical field? So
it's something that just happened, I guess.
Okay.
So my older brother, who is a orthopedic surgeon in the US, my dad is a medical doctor, so of course a lot of firstborns want to be like the father. True. Yeah, but unlike some of us who cannot be medical doctors, we had to find a different way to enter into the healthcare space, right? I'm a systems engineer by training. Okay. And so but in the end, I think one of the reasons why we are all here is because we grew up around healthcare, and so it's something we really, really know. And when we're looking for solutions to do, it feels convenient because we're so used to being around healthcare.
Exactly.
At least in my own case, that's what it is. It's like I was looking for a problem to solve, and because I knew so much about the healthcare from my dad and my brother, it was easy to say, hey, healthcare is what I want to do. Yeah.
Cool. Now let's come to the brand name MdaaS Global. What kind of services do you render at MdaaS?
So MdaaS Global, MdaaS actually stands for Medical Devices as a Service. Okay. But that refers to our early beginnings as a medical equipment supplier. When we started, we wanted to improve the healthcare system by improving the amount of high quality equipment that you have in Nigeria. And so we're bringing in equipment from the US and Nigeria and providing it to doctors in a variety of ways. They can buy, they can rent, they can lease. But now we've since moved to more like a vertically integrated company where we bring in those equipment and use it to start our own diagnostic centers. So instead of selling equipment to individual doctors.
Yeah.
We would set up a high quality diagnostic center in an underserved community, and then all of the hospitals around the community, those communities would refer to us. So we pretty much aggregating demand from many hundreds and hundreds of hospitals, and because of that we become the outsourced diagnostic department for many small and medium-sized hospitals within any community where we operate in. And then we also we've done that for several years now. Okay. So we've grown from one center, we have over 7 centers now, 7 locations now. Okay. And now, given that we have that infrastructure already in place, we also just launched a new product called Sentinel X, which is a preventive program, a preventive personalized program for people so that they can get annual screenings done and also have access to a doctor year round. So what we do pretty much is we're trying to provide high quality healthcare to Nigerians and eventually all Africans. We do that by building these diagnostic centers and also launching these virtual primary care services that people can use.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, for how long have you guys been in operation?
So we launched originally in Nigeria in 2016. So 5 years. This is year 5 for us now. But we've been I was working on the idea that became this company when I was a student at MIT. So and that was in 2014. But we didn't really start till 2016.
Fantastic. Now, we all know that Nigeria is a peculiar environment. I mean, anyone who's done business in Nigeria knows Nigeria is peculiar in its nature. What would you say are some of the challenges that your brand has had experienced since inception?
We've experienced quite a number of things. And I think the most difficult one is when you're affected by macroeconomic conditions. So shortly after we launched, if you remember in 2015, 2016, the Naira went from 200 to like 400 and then landed eventually at 360. One of the reasons that informed our pivot from selling equipment or leasing equipment to becoming a diagnostic center is because we lost our doctors, the doctors we sell to lost their buying power overnight. Doctors that could afford equipment suddenly could not afford it because now those equipment that we're bringing in were cost. The cost pretty much almost doubled. And so because of that, it was very difficult for some of these doctors to afford the same equipment. And then we realized that the amount of the money they were collecting from their patients, because in Nigeria, most of the payments are still out of pocket, were so little that you cannot, the unit economics for each unit didn't work. And so for us, imagine just starting a business, moving back to Nigeria from the US and realizing that the business you're starting is not starting, So one of the things we had to go back to the drawing board and say, the problem we're trying to solve is better healthcare for Nigerians, not selling equipment to people. So how best can we solve that problem? And that was setting up diagnostic centers, and we did that, and then we became really successful. But now that we run those diagnostic centers, we also face a new set of challenges, right? Running a network of diagnostic centers is very, very challenging, and I think right now we're the fastest growing diagnostic centers. Just 3 years ago we just had 1, now we have 7. And by next year we should have maybe like 15 or something like that. So we really fastly growing, and that means that we have to hire a lot of people, and that's tough, managing a lot of people, and that's tough. And particularly when you think about hiring doctors who are leaving the country in droves, there's a huge brain drain happening right now. A lot of younger doctors don't see a future for them in Nigeria, and so they all live in the country. And even though we almost want to show those doctors that Nigeria is the best place for them to be, but can't compare to Nigeria with the UK or the US. We are Nigerians, but we can be honest with ourselves about that. Like the outlook for doctors in the UK is better than here, unfortunately at the moment. Hopefully it changes. And so it's hard to compete against that when you're hiring doctors and they're continually leaving you because they live in the country. So that's some of the challenges we face as healthcare
Interesting.
professionals.
Now, Soga, let's look at the inspiration, the drive. Even though you mentioned earlier that the idea for this started while you were in school, and also the fact that you're from a medical background. But what would you say really touched you and necessitated the need to go this route? Yes, we've taken the fact that your family background played a major role. What else came to your mind that made you say, look, forget what I read in school, I think this is the path to go?
So my biggest inspiration for this business, obviously, is my dad. It's one of my biggest inspiration because he's, a small town doctor. He has a 30-bed, but he was able to do just him and my mom. They're both entrepreneurs. He ran an hospital. My mom ran a secondary school. The secondary school I went to. So I've always been surrounded by them, these people who left the traditional path to go start a business and were successful at doing that. So that definitely inspired me. But when it came time to, what really pushed me towards the edge was, I was taking a class at MIT called Development Ventures.
Okay.
And the whole goal of that class is to challenge the students to come up with an idea and a solution to a big challenge that can affect 1 billion people. And for a student, that's such, you can't, 1 billion people is a lot.
It's a lot.
But they tell you something that, you don't have to serve 1 billion people today. So just start small, but something that can scale. And so that thinking is what has always helped us at MdaaS, is that anytime we're creating a new product, anytime you're doing anything, and even the time we needed to pivot was with our current idea, can we serve 1 billion people? And if the answer is a no, we know that we need to go back to the drawing board. Yeah. But if it's with our diagnosis centers, we plan to actually serve 1 billion people. We think we can scale this to a point, not just in Nigeria, across Africa, where we can serve 1 billion people. And similar with Sentinel X, we think that the market is there, that we can serve as many Africans as possible, providing them the best preventive care possible, and that's kind of a framework for us to think. So
fantastic. I still have some more questions to ask, but at this point in time, I think we should go on a quick break. And when we come back, I'll give you the many questions I have.
Thank you.
To this program.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, viewers, you still want to meet the boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria.com, and my guest today is still the person of Mr. Oluwasoga Oni, the co-founder and CEO of MdaaS Global. We have been talking about quite a number of things, and when we come back from the break, I still have some more questions to ask before today's program is called a wrap. Please don't go nowhere, we shall be right back.
Looking for the best events? Log on to Connectnigeria.com.
Welcome back to the second half of today's program, Meet the Boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria.com. And what an interesting discussion has been so far. My guest is still Mr. Oluwasoga Oni, the co-founder and CEO of MdaaS Global. So, you're welcome to the second half of today's program.
Thank you. This is fun.
I'm glad you're liking it. Now, I want to, play a bit outside the box of MdaaS Global as a brand and ask you, based on your experience, how would you rate the business climate in Nigeria, right, for startups and young businesses? From your experience, how would you say the Nigerian climate is? And what do you think the government at all levels, both state and federal, can do to help businesses thrive?
Yeah, I would not lie and say that everything is great. Yeah, it's challenging to do work in Nigeria. Compared to other African countries, it's challenging, it's quite challenging. I think the promise of Nigeria is what keeps a lot of people coming here.
True.
Is that that there's a huge opportunity, there's a huge promise. But when it comes to actually running a business here, operating a business, or even just starting a business here, there's a lot of things that could be done, like reducing the bureaucracy of starting a business could be a great way to start. We find, because we have to register business centers in different states, is that it varies from state to state, but if that process could be eased a little bit, that would be amazing. And particularly for like a startup that don't have as much resources as we do now, so easing the business climate so that it's just a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So the all issues around double taxation. Sometimes you get taxed at the local level, at the state level, and then for almost the same things. So it's kind of like what makes it a little bit difficult. Even opening a bank account with in Nigeria is a lot more difficult than it needs to be. You need to bring this, you need to bring this. A lot of KYC. You understand why the KYC laws are, but maybe there's a way to have the KYC and also make it easier for people to like still start a business and run a business. And then the most important ways in which Nigeria is quite difficult is just very simple. Actually, is that Nigerians are poor. So because the buying power in Nigeria is so little that there's only so much that you can do with with that. Our own centers, for example, are actually mass market. So we try to serve our centers are in Ilorin, Osogbo, Ibadan, and Lagos. And so in these places, we are located in communities that are really underserved. So it's easy for us to pull the crowd, right? But it's not easy for us to charge a fair rate just because these people don't have a lot of money in the first way. And we cannot compromise on quality to deliver because we have a goal, right? So we don't compromise on our quality. And so we just have to make sure that our model works. If not, then we can make things work. And that's why you tend to see a lot of people cut corners because they're trying to save cost. And so which in healthcare you cannot do that because it might be the difference between life or death for someone.
Very, very
and so that's some of the things we see.
Very true. Well said too. Now let me pick your mind on this question. How would you say the experience has been so far for your brand since inception to date? How's it been?
Yeah, it's been as long as you're alive in Nigeria, you are still kicking and you are still hustling. There's something to be thankful for.
True.
And we started in one of the toughest environments in 2015, 2016. And the fact that we're going through another wave of like really difficult time, and we're still like alive and kicking, and we're not just surviving, we're also thriving. I think it makes me happy that of what we've been able to build. We've gone from a team of 4 people to now a team of over 80 people across the organization. Nice. And these are 80 people that because of us, including me, we have a livelihood now. Get paid every day to go to work, and we support our families from our work. There's a lot to be thankful for there. So even though we can complain about how tough things are, how sometimes you run into these obstacles, but there's still we're still around. And one of the important things is that we've been able to get supporters both at home and abroad who really believes in the mission that we're trying to build for and have supported us throughout it. So it's really thankful.
That's great. Now speaking about team, it brings me to yet another question. What would you say? How important would you say it is to have a formidable team for any brand?
Yeah, I think that's everything. I think without your team, you have nothing. I think ideas are great, and a lot of people have ideas every day, but execution is king, and you cannot execute without a good team. I think one of the reasons why we've been able to be very flexible and adapt to different economic environments, we went from doing equipment supplier work to running a network of diagnostic centers because we have a team who can adapt to whatever challenges that has been thrown at them. And so having that kind of, I have a A-class team, and for startups who want to compromise on that, that's the wrong thing to compromise on. The reason why we've been able to be where we are today is because we actually have a great funding team, and we're able to also invite more people to join us to go towards the mission. Yeah.
That's great. Now let's we're fast coming to the home stretch, but let me quickly throw this in. Now, MdaaS Global, 5 years from now, what are we to expect? Like what's new? Maybe you should even shed some more light about the new venture you mentioned earlier, the Sentinel X. What's new for your brand?
So what is new for us is Sentinel X. I'm really excited about this service because I think that it has a potential to change the way Nigerians see their healthcare. Right now, most people don't go to a hospital or to check up on themselves until they get sick.
They are down.
and then there's also, like in Lagos particularly and Abuja, you tend to hear about this sudden death syndrome among people in their 50s and 60s because these people have never gone for a screening and then one day they just go to work and drop dead. Yeah, and people say, oh, the slums, it's the village people, it's this person, it's that person. Well, it's because these people don't have a culture of checking up themselves. That's why that has happened. And so if this program that we're creating today is something that will help people check up on themselves. It's a very, very affordable way for you to check up on yourself yearly. And the way it works is that when you sign up, it's just 35,000 naira. Something is very, very affordable.
Yes.
We do a really, really comprehensive annual screening for you. It includes, your cardiac function, lung function, liver function, a full blood count, a lot of things, other things. And then we'll give you a very comprehensive report about yourself, not in medical jargons, in layman terms. And then we'll assign you a doctor or a care team that will create a care plan, just personalized just for you. And then we would follow up with you every month to make sure you get better. So we think that this is the future of healthcare, not just in Nigeria, abroad, like this personalized medicine is the future of healthcare. And we want to be able to do that here too. The limitations we have here is, of course, is like, people are very price sensitive here. But we think that at that price point we targeting, that a lot of people should be able to access the program. And people can go to our website right now and just join the wait list. We're in beta right now, so if anybody wants to join the wait list, they can just go and join at sentinelx.io.
Fantastic. I mean, this concept that you just talked about before now was a concept or a procedure known for the elites.
Yes.
The big boys.
Yeah, exactly.
So to hear that for just 35K, one can get a full year cover to run different diagnosis tests.
Yes.
That's really amazing.
Yeah, and one of the things we are trying to do is we're trying to democratize access to this annual screening. So for so long, that has only been available for people that can pay 100K and above. But we want to democratize access to it for many other people who can only maybe afford 35K, but that way they still get the same type of healthcare as people that can afford 100, 200K for their annual checkup.
Fantastic. Wow. Before I call today's interview a wrap, I'd like you to give some final words of encouragement to other brands like yourself, or even other brands doing other things, other CEOs out there that will be watching today's interview. What would you say to them from the experience you have gotten so far from your own brand?
Well, I usually, as a person, one of the things that you have to realize is each person's journey is unique, and we're all running a marathon. And sometimes some people are running, they're sprinting, and sometimes you're jogging and you're looking at the people sprinting and you always feel like, oh, these people are doing better than I am. These people I'm not doing as well. Yeah, in a fast pace, and you're moving, and you are just jogging. But don't be discouraged by that. Like we all have our own individual journeys to run, and it's a marathon. And so right now you might start slow, but you might catch up, or even you might never catch up. But as long as you're fulfilling the goal of your organization, for us that is improving healthcare for Africans next billion. That is great. That's okay, and that's what you should care about, not like looking off your shoulders and be like, oh, this person raised this money, this person got this person, so.
Fantastic. Wow, what a day it's been. I want to say a very big thank you to you, Oluwasoga Oni.
Thank you for having
us time to talk to us today. And we shall be following your brand, and from time to time do well to report your success story as it goes.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, viewers, you've heard it all from my guest today, Oluwasoga Oni, the co-founder and CEO of MdaaS Global. He shared a lot of wonderful insights about the brand, how it started, some of the challenges they faced starting up the business, and also some of the wonderful new things that they have in store, like the Sentinel X, a product they are presently promoting. Remember, you can catch the post-event of this today's interview on our website, www.connectnigeria.com, and you can also watch it on our YouTube page. Just search for Cntv or Connect Nigeria on YouTube, and you see today's interview and all the wonderful previous interviews we've had on this program. And also, if you want to follow us on social media, our social handle still remains at Connect Nigeria across all platforms, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you want to follow my humble self, I still remain Williams Uzomba across all the various social media handles. If you want to see someone interested on this program, send us a message and we'll do our best to bring them your way. Until we come your way, same time, same station, same time next week. As I always say on this program, continue to keep a positive mind, and the sky will just be the beginning of your success. Bye, guys.